Have you ever wanted to be in a mentorship, either as a mentor or mentee, but just didn't know with who or where to look? Then this is the perfect episode for you. So buckle up and stay tuned until after the music. You're about to listen to a great episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Within this episode, my hope is that you obtain something that will help you find your success. So grab a pen, get your paper, your favorite snack or drink, and really listen to what I have to say. I truly believe it can be what you need to get you to your next level in life. So grab a seat and enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to another episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season with your family, with your friends, and with your loved ones, as well as some much needed self-care time. I hope you was able to do that as well. But we're getting started with the second half of season 3, and I thought it would be perfect to start this second half with the episode about mentorship. And the reason why I feel like this is the perfect episode to start it off with is because if you didn't know, January is National Mentoring Month. So I thought, what better way to start off this season, to start off this year, than to start talking about mentorship. Now, as you all know, I start off my individual episodes with a little story time. And with this week, I'm going to give you 2 different stories. Now, this first story is about my time as a mentee in high school. So when I was in high school, I was accepted into this great program that got me really interested in pursuing engineering. Now, even though I love telling the story because it's kind of like my origin story, I would try to keep it short. Now, within this program, I was paired up with 4 mentors, not all at the same time. When I got into the program, I was a sophomore in high school, and I stayed in it until my senior year in high school. So the first year, I was paired with 2 mentors. And after that, one of my mentors ended up, because he was in the military, being transferred to a different location. So that second and third year I was in the program, I was actually paired with 3 mentors. They brought on two new mentors for me, and I had 3 from my junior and senior year, so 4 in total, but at different times. Now, with this mentor-mentee relationship, I was able to learn a lot about the engineering field and how big it really is. Before I even got into the program, I thought all engineers did the same thing. And as we know, as STEM is becoming a popular subject or topic, as we're getting throughout the years, we know engineering can be seen in a lot of different fields, almost in every field really, or industry. Now they even helped me decide on the engineering major going into college. I did end up switching from that major, but it was the right major for me when I thought I wanted to do something else, which was to become a doctor. So when I first started college, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, so I went into biomedical engineering. After maybe my first year in college, I realized I don't want to be a doctor, and I felt that biomedical engineering was a narrow type of major, and it was kind of hard, at least at that time, for me to look for internships and co-ops while I was in college. So I ended up switching to electrical engineering, which is my major now, and I'm able to do a lot of things. Even if I want to stay in the medical field, I can do that, but I can also go into do other things, which I have been able to do. Now, throughout the program and even after the program, my mentors have helped me with a lot of things, from writing recommendation letters to giving me career advice. Now, we haven't talked in years now, but I still feel comfortable going to them whenever I need advice. And even one of them supported my podcast and bought a coffee mug that I've made. And I do have coffee mugs. I know I don't talk about it, but if you want a coffee mug with my logo on it, you can definitely do that. Just DM me and I can get that to you. Now, my second story is about me being a mentor. Now, as you may all know, or at least some of you, I'm a big with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central Indiana. I would dig a little deeper into my experience in my volunteering episode, but I've been doing this probably actually a little over 4 years now, and I've been enjoying the experience a lot so far. Now, being a mentor to my little, what we call our mentees, has not only helped him, but also helped me understand how important mentorship is, especially in the Black community. I'm able to answer a lot of his questions when it comes to college, when it comes to life, when it comes to anything in between. And if there's something I can't answer, we usually go find it together. I'm also able to give him experiences he might not have had otherwise. Now, sometimes there are experiences I might not have had either, and it was something we were able to do because of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And just a short plug about Big Brothers Big Sisters: if you're interested in being a mentor and you want to be a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters, whether it's in Central Indiana or in the city that you're in, you can definitely hit me up and ask any questions you may have about the program and how to get involved and that kind of thing. Again, you just have to email me or DM me and we can have that conversation. Now, throughout both experiences of being a mentee and being a mentor, I've learned a lot about myself. I met a lot of great people and had experiences that I will be able to use throughout my life. And I hope with this episode, I not only convince you how important mentorship is, but also challenge you to become a mentor, to become a mentee, or even to become both. Now let's get started with the main topic, which, like I talked about, is mentorship. Now, let's first talk about what is mentorship. Now, according to Wikipedia, mentorship is the influence, the guidance, and direction given by a mentor. Now, the key words, at least for me in that definition, are influence, guide, and direct. Mentors are not like parents who tell you what to do and you must do what they tell you. They are there to guide you as you make decisions for your life, as you individually make that decision for your life. Now, it's a relationship between a mentor or multiple mentors and a mentee or multiple mentees. Now, a mentor, also according to Wikipedia, is someone who teaches or gives help and advice to a less experienced and often younger person. They don't have to be younger, and they only have to be less experienced, or the mentee only has to be less experienced in the area of the relationship. So, for example, let's say there's a doctor who's brilliant in the medical field, and they want to have a mentor who is great in business because they want to start their own business. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a medical business or their own practice. Their mentor will only have to be really good or have great knowledge within business. They wouldn't have to also be a great doctor or be great in the medical field or even know anything about the medical field. They just have to know the information about starting and maintaining and being successful within a business. Now, the reverse of a mentor is a mentee who receives the teachings and advice from a more experienced person. Now, again, age is not a factor on who should be the mentor or the mentee, and it's mostly experience based. So as the mentor, as long as you're more experienced in what you're mentoring your mentee about, that's the main point. Now, in any relationship, including a mentorship, it should be a give and take, where sometimes you give and sometimes you take. Now, yes, with this type of relationship, the mentor is mostly giving and the mentee is mostly taking, but that doesn't mean it can't be reversed. Now, I'm going to go into this a little later, but a mentee should also try to find ways to give to their mentor. Now we know what mentorship is. Let's get into why mentorship is important. Now, first off, mentorship is a relationship in which can and should benefit everyone involved. Like I just said, even as a mentee, you should be striving to give just as much as you receive. But again, because of this type of relationship, the mentor is going to be giving more and the mentee is going to be receiving more. Now, mentorship is also important because it helps build your network. Not only is your mentor, mentee, or mentee now a part of your network, but anyone they know could easily become a part of your network as well. Asking the right questions and showing interest in the right things can get you in rooms and spaces with the right people. And when I say right questions and right things, I mean things that interest you, that also interest your mentor or mentee. They can show you people or get you in rooms with people that are also interested in that same thing. Now, as a mentee, you're able to gain a lot of knowledge to either avoid obstacles or to get through them. Now, you may not be able to get all your questions answered or problem solved, but this relationship can help you see things in different perspectives that can lead you in the right direction. As a mentor, you'll be passing on knowledge and information to people that can help possibly solve problems that you couldn't. Passing on knowledge and wisdom puts people, in quotes, on your shoulders to reach levels that seemed impossible at first. Now, both parties should also be trying to get the best out of each other. You should be able to tell your mentor or mentee when they're slacking, but also you want to celebrate them when they're accomplishing their goals. You can see this relationship kind of as an accountability partner to keep you moving in the right direction. Not only is mentorship important, it's also important to understand that one single mentorship relationship may not be the one you need for all parts of your life or your journey. That's why you should have multiple mentors and mentee relationships that is beneficial to different aspects of your life and throughout different seasons of your life. Now, just because you're a mentor or a mentee with your business doesn't mean that that person can be a mentor or mentee with your physical or mental health. You will have to find someone else, or you might have to find someone else for that aspect of your life. And just because they've been your mentor or mentee all through high school doesn't mean they'll be your mentor or mentee while you're in college or after you graduate from high school. You might have to find someone else, which is also fine. So now that we know what mentorship is and why it's important, let's talk about one aspect of a mentorship, being a mentor, and who should be a mentor. Now, the first person I feel that can be a great mentor is someone, if you have accomplished something or went through something that others will also go through. So if you graduated from college, if you have a successful business, if you're doing well within your profession, if you trained for and ran a marathon, these are just great examples of people who can be mentors. And it doesn't have to be groundbreaking. You don't necessarily have to be the best at something. If you learn something from your experience, if you've grown from it, if you accomplish something, that is what matters. That is what you can use within your mentorship relationship. Now, another type of person who should be a mentor are people who are experts within their subject or their field. Now, did you spend the last 10, 15 years learning and have experiences in a specific subject that others are interested in? So if you are a doctor, or you are a lawyer, or you are an engineer, or you are a painter, or you are a teacher, and you've been doing that for 10 years, you can definitely help someone else come after you and be successful in that field. Are you adding new knowledge or discovering things within your field? Again, if you're an expert in your discovering stuff, people look at you and can learn from you. Now, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about putting people on your shoulders. When you're discovering something and you are mentoring someone, they can take what you taught them and go even further with it. Now, the next person or next type of person I think is the best form or best person to be a mentor. So if you're someone from a disadvantaged community and you find a way to find your success, you should definitely be a mentor. Like I said, to me, these are some of the most important people to become mentors. There are some people in this world that comes from, there are a lot of people, I should say, many people in this world that come from disadvantaged communities or grew up in poverty, who needs just that one person that can personally see, who have came from where they came from, or somewhere very similar, and then they believe in them to get out as well. The lessons you learn, the obstacles you face could help someone get to where you are, and even further, again, putting them on your shoulders. Now, these are the people that if they work together within their communities and with the people within their communities, can literally change the course of the people that live in that community at large. Like, I really believe that mentorship, if used in the right way, if a program is made out of it within a community, they can definitely help a lot of people become successful, and in turn make that community a successful and a sought out after community. Now, the last person I believe who can be great mentors are people who are reformed convicts or addicts. Now, this is different from the previous type of mentor because not all people who come from disadvantaged communities been to jail or was an addict, and not all reformed individuals come from disadvantaged communities. Now, you are people who are reformed convicts and addicts are people who, through experience, they know what happened if people keep going down that same negative path. You are also an example that people can overcome their past and have a better future. You know what it takes and are able to guide them or guide others in the right direction. Now, I personally don't have any personal experience with being a reformed convict or being an addict, but I do know that through experiences sometimes are the best teacher, and instead of you going through that experience, you can learn from other people's experiences to help you move in the right direction. Now that we know what mentorship is, we know why it's important, and we know who should be a mentor, and I'm thinking in my head that everyone who's listening to this episode can probably fit into at least one of those categories. So I think everyone could be a mentor. It's just up to you to really put in the work to be a mentor. So how do you become a mentor? How do you become a great mentor? That is a great question, and what I'm going to be talking about next. So the first thing that can make you a great mentor is being someone that have patience. Now, you must be able to watch your mentor grow, mistakes and all. You can't want to give up on them just because it may take them longer to understand something, or they keep making the same mistake over and over again. You have to be someone who can see that they're making a mistake and try to figure out different ways that is helpful to them. And everything that you do or the way you teach something might not be the best way to teach everyone. So you got to figure out how you can teach what you know to everyone that you're being a mentor to. So you might even have to repeat some things over and over again for them to truly understand why things should be done a certain way, or at least not done the way that they've been trying to do it. So definitely take your time and go at the pace you see that they're making progress. So again, being a mentor, you're giving for most of the relationship. So in order to be a good giver, you have to give the right thing to the person who is in need. And if you're going at a pace or giving at a pace that is not good for them, that relationship is not really going to be beneficial to the person who is supposed to be beneficial to. So let's move on to the next thing a great mentor should have, which is being truthful and honest. If you don't know an answer to something, be honest and tell them that. Now, you can either try and find the answer together, or you can help them find someone who does know the answer and can explain it better to them. And that's also a way that you can learn something and gain from this experience as well as a mentor. You also don't want to be lying about your experiences or skills you don't have. That's only going to make you look bad in the long run and lose credibility. And even in a mentor-mentee relationship, you want to have the best credibility because you never know where or who that person is going to meet. And some people will tell others if you're lying, or if you're a liar, if you're not trustworthy, and that's just going to make your credibility bad. So being truthful and honest also teaches your mentee to do the same thing, especially when it may look hard to do so. So sometimes telling the truth or being honest at the beginning, it seems hard to do, and it seems easier to tell a lie. But in the long run, when you tell the truth, it's only going to be beneficial to you and the person that's involved in that situation. So definitely telling the truth and being a trustworthy person will help them also do the same thing. Now, you must also be truthful and honest with your mentee when you see them not living up to their potential. Now, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to curse them out, but you have to let them know whenever you feel they are not living up to their potential, and then offer them different ways for them to turn it around. Like, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to belittle them, you don't have to make them feel bad, but you do want to tell them how their actions are not living up to their potential, not to your potential, but to their own potential. Now, also, to be a great mentor, you should also make sure you are making time for your mentee. It can be once a week, it can be once a month, it can even be once a quarter, but make sure to meet with your mentor or meet with your mentee one-on-one, whether it's virtual or in person. Of course, if you can't do person, I will highly recommend in person, but if you're someone who travels a lot, or if both of you are in two different parts of the country or parts of the world, that virtual meeting can still be good. Now, you can also communicate via email or text when you're not talking in person or in between talking in person. Now, just because you meet someone once a month or once a quarter doesn't mean that's the only time you have to communicate with them. You can, like I said, you can communicate via email, via text, and on social media too. So don't use not being able to see them in person all the time as an excuse of why you can't be a great mentor and talk to them on a regular basis. Now, having some sort of consistency will help build that relationship and their trust in you and your opinions and advice. So even if you are meeting them every quarter or once a quarter, if you make that consistent, if you make that a thing that you do and you're on top of it, that relationship is going to build, and their trust in you and your advice is going to build. Now, if you say I'm going to meet with them every week or every month, and you're missing every other month or missing every other week, that's going to make them lose confidence or lose trust in your abilities because you're not sticking to the words that you say you're going to do. Now, lastly, and probably the most important thing, is living by what you teach. You can't tell your mentee to never drink drink alcohol and you're getting drunk every weekend. It's important for them to see you doing what you advise them to do so they can see and model after you. And with social media, it's not just about what they see you do in person or what they see you do when you're around them. If you're connected with them on social media, they're going to see different things that you post on social media and different ways that you interact with people on social media. And that is also a part of your credibility as well. It also will go against your credibility if they see you doing things you said they shouldn't do for them to be successful. So if you're telling your mentee that you need to get 8 hours of sleep a night so you can be refreshed and so you can be successful, but on social media you're talking about grind, don't worry about sleep, you can sleep later, they're going to feel mixed signals of how to really be successful because you're saying one thing but then you're doing another thing. So now that we talked about who should be a mentor and how to be a great mentor, let's move over to the other side of the relationship and talk about who should be a mentee. Now, in short, I think everyone should be a mentee, just like I think everyone could possibly be a mentor. But I have some categories of people I think would definitely benefit from being a mentee. Now, if you are young, I definitely think you should be looking to be a mentee. And I know that's kind of vague, but anyone probably between middle school and high school should definitely have some type of mentor or be in some type of mentorship program. I think this can really change in a positive way the way our youth grow up into adults. Just because you change the age you go from 17 to 18 or from 20 to 21 or from 29 to 30 doesn't mean you're going to know what is expected of you at that next age. You have to go through these experiences. You have to go through these different parts of your life to understand why certain things should be done a certain way. Again, having that mentor can definitely help you get to those different levels at those different ages. You will be able to have someone to help guide you as you enter different stages in your life to help you make better decisions that will impact your future. Like I said at the beginning, they should only be guiding you and not telling you what to do. So if you are young in high school, and even in college, really, you should be looking to be a mentee and finding a mentor. Now, the second group of people, if you're entering into a new career in or new company of employment, you should be looking for a mentor. Having someone on your side that knows the ropes can help you learn them at a faster pace. They don't have to necessarily be your manager, or even someone in your group or your team or your department. The main thing is you pick someone you can trust and someone you can ask questions to that may be hard to answer, especially if it's about the company. And every company is not perfect. So when there's good, there's also bad. And you need to be able to trust somebody who's going to not just tell you all the good things about the company, but also tell you the things that are not so good. So be patient when you're looking for this type of mentor and pay close attention to how people operate around you and with different employees. Now, just because in a meeting you see how professional they are, you see how they are looked up to by the other team members and how they just look in general behind closed doors when they're talking to other coworkers in their office, or if they're just gossiping around the office, that might not be the best person for you. So try to pay attention to as much as you can before you select someone to be your mentor. And I'm going to talk about this a little later, but it doesn't have to necessarily be a formal mentor-mentee relationship, at least not at the beginning. It can be someone that you just go to for advice throughout your time there, throughout your first couple of years. Now, another group of people I think that will definitely benefit from a mentorship relationship are people if you're planning to start a business or you started a business. Having someone who's been where you are can help you avoid mistakes and get through a lot of obstacles. They can teach you how to do things correct the first time so you don't have to undo or redo certain things and cost you money, cost you time. Now, starting a business is already a very risky thing to do. So having a mentor can help you relieve some of that risk. Of course, they're not going to relieve all the risk because there's just so much risk. It's just not one way to relieve it all, but it can help you relieve some of it that can eventually help you be successful within that business. Now, they can also point you in the right direction when you're trying to outsource work or find help with different parts of your business. Now, as a business owner, if you are starting out, you're not going to know everything. You're not going to be great at everything, and being able to have other people who are great at the parts that you're not great at can definitely help bring your business out a lot further. It can help you be successful and again eliminate some of that risk. And having that mentor, they can have, again, building your network, they can have a lot of people within their network that can help you and help you build your business. And then the last group of people I think that really needs a mentor, if you're having trouble figuring out what you want to do for the next stage of your life. Now, mentors can have access to resources and people who show you things you may not have ever thought about. They will also see things from a different perspective than you, so you may be able to use your skills that you thought will only be good at one job, and it might be actually good for another job or another career path. If anything, they can give you guidance on things you could do to help you find what you're passionate about and how you can turn that passion into a career. Now, just how I went over what will make a great mentor, let's talk about what will make a great mentee. Now, as a mentee, you're trying to figure out how you can give back to your mentor. Like I said at the beginning, a mentorship relationship should be a give and take on both ends. And as a mentee, you might not be able to give back as much as your mentor gives to you, like I talked about. But offering your services to them or being a personal assistant here and there can definitely go a long way, as a few examples. Maybe you have a skill that's also beneficial to them or someone in their life. Maybe, for example, maybe you're really good at math or science or English or whatever subject it is in school. Maybe your mentor has a child, or someone within your mentor's circle has a child who's struggling within that subject. You can offer to help them tutor their child maybe once a week or forever how long. And that can be a way for you to give back to your mentor. Another great way of being a mentee is being open for constructive criticism. Now, a mentor is a person who should be able to tell you when they think you are heading in the wrong direction or making illogical decisions. Like I said a few times in this episode, they are not there to tell you what to do. They should be telling you they should be honest with you on how they think you are doing. Now, honestly, that's what they are there for. To give you feedback, to give you guidance on the decisions that you are making. And sometimes those decisions you are making are not the best in their eyes. Now, even as a mentor, they are not perfect and they don't know everything. So I've said this in a couple other episodes before, that you should be taking everything anyone says to you, including your mentors, with a grain of salt, because no one's perfect. No one knows everything. And they're giving you the advice based off their own experiences, based off everything that they've been through. So, I mean, again, you should definitely be listening to them because they should know more than you do within that subject. But again, they don't know everything. So that's just a part of the relationship. Now, also, to be a great mentee, you should also be open to learn from others and do things you normally wouldn't. This is basically the whole point of having a mentor and being a mentee. You pick them as your mentor because you believe they know things that you want to know and had experiences that you want to have. So sometimes you have to do things that you necessarily wouldn't do or line up with what you've been doing before. But no, I'm not saying you should be going against your morals or things that you believe in, but don't be afraid to try things outside of your box or outside your comfort zone. That's really how you grow as a person. And then lastly, like I said about the mentors of how to be a great mentor, as a mentee, you should also be trustworthy and be honest with your mentor. Just like I said, just like I expect your mentor to be trustworthy and honest with you, you should do the same thing with them. That's the only way you can truly grow and make positive changes in your life. If you're lying to them about how good you are at something or you're interested in something, that is only going to make things worse for you in the long run. And if for whatever reason they don't want to be your mentor, move on and you can find another mentor, because at the end of the day, that might not be the best relationship for you in the first place. And like I said, a lot of mentors are there for a season, and you go from season to season and you find different mentors for what you need in life. Now that we talked about both the mentor and the mentee, how to be a great mentor, how to be a great mentee, the importance of mentorship and all that kind of stuff. Lastly, the last thing I think is very important about this conversation is to talk about where to find a mentor or a mentee. Now, for all my students out there, you are in luck. You can look at your teachers, you can look at your professors, you can look at other faculty members, you can look at your advisors, and those people can be your mentors. And for obvious reasons, because they know things within hopefully the subject area that you want to get into, and they can help you be successful in that field. Now, as a student, you should also be a part of different student organizations. And within student organizations, you can find past members who have graduated and potentially worked in the field you're interested in, and they can be your mentor. This can also go for those looking to be a mentor. So if you graduated from a school and you were part of a student organization, you can definitely reach out to them and let them know that you're interested in being a mentor to their members, and maybe even bring some of your peers who graduated with you to form some sort of like mentorship program within alumni and current members, so you guys can form this relationship and help each other out and help each other be successful. Now, for those who are not a student or who haven't been a student at a college, you can look within your community for networking events, both virtual and in person, to meet new people and potentially find someone who can be a mentor. And these events can definitely be used for looking for a mentee as well. And where do you find these events within your community? I know a lot of communities have different Facebook pages that you can go to. There are a lot of apps out there like Eventbrite that advertise different events. If you're like do a search of your town or your community or your city, there are a lot of different events that pop up, especially if you live close to like a bigger city like a Chicago, or I'm going to say Indianapolis, but it's not as big, but like a Indianapolis, like a Houston, like a LA, and those kind of cities. You would definitely find different networking events that you can be a part of. Now, another great place to look for mentees or mentors are programs within your community that are geared towards helping the less fortunate or helping the youth within your community. So if you're looking, again, to be a mentor or a mentee, you can find these programs. And just a short story, a couple weeks ago, me and my little, through Big Brothers Big Sisters, was invited to represent Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana during Indiana Pacers basketball game, because like I said, it's National Mentoring Month, and they were highlighting some of the mentoring programs within the city of Indianapolis, and some of them are in different cities within Indiana, and including Big Brothers Big Sisters. There were 4 programs that were being represented and being honored or highlighted during the halftime of that game. So there are a lot of different programs out there that you can be a part of, whether it's within a school, whether it's just a program that works with a school. I mean, you can even go to a school within your community, whether it be a middle school or high school, and either go to it physically or email a teacher, email the principal, email a faculty member, and ask them, are there any programs that you can be a part of as a mentor? And then as a student, you can go to your teachers, go to your advisors, go to the principal and ask them, are there any programs that the school offers for me to be a mentee to someone? Now, the last place you could potentially find a mentor and or mentee is at your company you work for. Now, a lot of companies, especially if you're within the STEM field, we have these things called ERGs, or employee resource groups, which are basically student organizations in the professional world. Now, these groups are usually different groups with different types of interests or backgrounds. And they can be new employees, they can be African Americans, they can be Asian, they can be employees with disabilities. It can be women within that organization. It can be the LGBT community. They have a lot of different groups for different types of interests and different backgrounds of people. And you don't necessarily have to be within that interest or within that background. As long as you support people within that interest or background, you can be a part of these. They're called ERGs, employee resource groups. If they don't offer those type of resources at your job, you can always try to latch on to a seasoned employee if you're looking to be looking to find a mentor, or you can be a helping hand to a newbie or a new employee if you're looking for a mentee. And like I said before, it doesn't have to start off as a formal mentorship relationship, but it can grow into one. So maybe there could be someone you go to when you have questions about the job if you're looking to be a mentee, or someone you go to check up on every now and then and see how they're doing if you're looking to be a mentor. So there's a lot of different places you can go to find to be in a mentor-mentee relationship and to help build your success in or their success. But that's all I have about mentorship relationships, which I hope is helpful in your journey to building one. But before I let you go, I have a challenge of the week I would love for you to participate in, as I do for all my individual episodes. Now this one is definitely kind of self-explanatory, but I will go over it anyway. So my challenge for you this week is to begin the process of looking for either a mentee or a mentor, or both. Now when I say begin the process, I mean look within yourself, look for areas in your life where you can see you need improvements if you're looking to be a mentee, or look in areas of your life where you feel you have made great accomplishments or had great experiences if you're looking to be a mentor. Now you can take that even further and look for places that have people that either can help you with the places in your life that you want to be improved if you're looking to be a mentee, or you can look for places where you can guide others with your accomplishments and with your experiences if you're looking to be a mentor. And if you want to take it even further, you can identify people or programs you might like to join to form that mentorship relationship and really start that conversation with them or with people and exchange contact information. Now, you can also take each of these levels or each of these steps and do maybe one every week for the next 3 weeks, or until you find your mentor or find your mentee that is right for you, that is right for what you want to accomplish with your life. And with that, I would like to say thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Last Me Experience podcast. I really hope this episode, the first start of this new year, the first start of the second half of season 3, and I hope it is great for you as you continue your journey. If you like what you heard today, please like, please share, please comment and subscribe so I can know that you're not just listening but enjoying the content. Now, if you have questions, if you have comments, you have topic ideas, if you have guest ideas, please don't hesitate to email me at lasnbexperience@gmail.com, or if you connect with me on social media, you can also DM me on social media. Seasons, as I would like to always say, seasons 1 and 2 are also available on all platforms. You can listen where you listen to podcasts, and that's including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, basically anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And you can find that at the Last Me Experience podcast, just like how you found this episode. Lastly, for my readers, I have a blog that covers every individual episode topic, which can be found at lasnbexperience.wordpress.com. Now, within that blog, I also have articles from season 2, as well as articles from before I started a podcast. So there is a lot of content that you can read if that is what you like to do. Again, thank you for listening to another episode of the Last Me Experience podcast. And as always, until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I really hope you were able to receive valuable information that will help you take actionable steps to get you closer to achieving your goals. If this is true for you, I would really appreciate it if you share this episode with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to continue receiving updates on new episodes. I truly am excited about how my experience, the Lazenby Experience, can make a difference in your life. Again, thank you for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast, and until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.